What's up, guys? So in today's Diablo 4 video, we're going to go through some tips and tricks that you might not know. Hopefully you find some of this stuff helpful. Some of it is pretty basic, but there's a couple things that are a bit more advanced that you might not know. So let's jump into it. All right, so the first thing we'll cover is pretty easy. Most of you guys, if you've been playing for a while, probably know this. Some of you that are new to the game may not know this, and that's that item power is not all that important when determining if an item is an upgrade for you or not. And what I mean by that is that item power level, all that really determines is the strength of the affixes on the item and then what tier it falls under. So on the screen here will be the different tiers. It goes from 1 to 5, and then once you reach a certain threshold, it determines if the item is going to be a normal item, a sacred item, an ancestral item, or if you're lucky, super lucky, an uber unique. Okay, and all those different tiers determine is the strength of the affixes on that item. So just because you have an item that is a higher item power level doesn't necessarily mean that is an upgrade for you. So I'll give you an example. So this is my Blizzard Sork on the Eternal Realm. So if you look at my current ring, it's a 767 power level, and the ring that I'm currently looking at is a 779. So it's a higher item power level. But if you look at the affixes are not that good for my particular build. So even though my item is a lower power level, this particular ring is better for me than the higher item power level, right? So you just want to make sure you're looking at that. Don't really use item power level to determine if an item is better or not. Just look at the individual stats. Okay. Hi guys, Editing Grom here. So something I forgot to mention in this section of the video, if you're brand new and you don't know what specific stats you're looking for or affixes you're looking for, a good rule of thumb is for your pants and your chest, you want to have defensive affixes. The reason for that is those are the spots where you can get the highest rolls for defenses. So you definitely want to have those there. Your helm can be a flex spot. Usually you want to have max life, max armor, some defenses, and maybe some resource gen. Your boots, you usually want to have movement and sometimes utility, maybe some mana cost reduction, cooldown reduction, things like that. And then your weapons, you want to have all of your offensives. Your rings, you can have a mix of offensive aspects and or mana generation or mana cost reduction. And then your amulet can, if you are a mana or resource using class, you definitely want to have mana cost reduction on that amulet, because that is going to be the largest place where you can get the largest roll there. So you definitely want to have that there if you want to reduce your mana costs. And then the other affixes, you can use that as a flex spot, either having more defensives, because you can get some pretty good rolls for defensives, or you can also do some offensive specs there too. So hopefully that helps you guys get like a general idea of what to look for. Okay. The only time that you should maybe consider item power level would be as if you're looking at a weapon or a piece of armor. The reason being is because a piece of armor that has a higher item power level will have more armor on it, and a weapon that has a higher item power level will have more damage on it. So you still want to look at the affixes and make sure the affixes are good and decently rolled on your for your affixes and ones that you want. So you want to take that into consideration. One thing that you guys might not know is you can actually downgrade your gear by upgrading it. So I'll bring up the list of the tiers here. So if your item is close to one of the breakpoints for taking it to either normal to sacred, or for sacred to ancestral, what it'll do, the game will do, is it'll actually re-roll all of the stats on the item with the exception of the aspects. It won't change the aspects, it'll just change the individual stats. So there's a potential for you to upgrade an item and actually downgrade it, right? So we'll see if we can get it to happen here. So we'll take this item here. So this item here, this item is a 713. So the breakpoint from when a sacred item goes to an ancestral item is 725. So if we take this past 725, this is going to re-roll this to an ancestral item power level. It won't change the name, but it'll change the power on the affixes. So we'll take a look here. So if we go to upgrade this, right? So right now, what we'll focus on, we'll look at dexterity. So we're at 31 dexterity. So we're pretty close to the top end of the dexterity there. So if we upgrade this once, it's going to add +3, right? So now we're at 723 power level. So we're just below that 725. So if we upgrade this again, now this is going to, now you see it's only +3. Now look, it re-rolled the stats on the bottom here, you see? So before we were only 1 away on the dexterity, now we're less. It is giving us more dexterity, but it actually re-rolled it to be a lower number. So one thing to take in consideration when you're upgrading your gear, this is only really applicable in the early to mid game when you're still working with sacred items. Once you get to ancestral, this is not something you'll have to deal with. But from, like, I would say probably levels 50 to probably 70, 75, just something you want to take in to consideration when you're upgrading your gear. Okay. All right, the next one we'll cover is pretty easy as well. Most of you guys probably know this. If you're a newer player, you probably don't know this, and I don't know why the game does this to you for as a default. It should definitely be switched around the other way. But one of the things that you'll want to do if you don't have this turned on is turn on advanced tooltips. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your options. You're going to want to go to gameplay. And you're going to want to turn on advanced tooltip compare and advanced tooltip information. So by default, this is what the game looks like. So when you look at a piece of gear, all you see is the stats. You don't see the ranges on the stats. So you don't, unless you have it memorized, you have no idea if this is a high roll or not, right? So what you want to do is you want to go here, turn this on, and then now you can see it'll show you the ranges of the items. Now you can see, okay, this strength roll and this choker of control is about a mid roll. It's not a great roll. The shock skill damage is maxed. Devouring Blaze is maxed. So you can see, and what the compare does, so that's the advanced tooltip. What the compare does, the compare shows you what it is compared to your current item. And it'll also tell you down at the bottom the properties lost if you were to equip this item. Really, really useful. If you don't already have this turned on, please turn this on, because this will make your life so much easier. Did you know that you can target farm specific uniques in the game? Still a chance, but you have the highest chance, actually the only chance of getting those items from those specific enemies, right? So what we have up on the screen here, and I'll put this link in the description of the video. This is a targeted farming tool that you can use to punch in what item you're looking for, and it'll tell you what kind of enemies that you need to kill for it. So for example, let's say you're looking for a pair of Gloves of Illuminator. You click on Gloves of Illuminator. It's going to tell you down here. We'll take off Isu's. We'll take off Indario's Visage, right? So now it's going to tell us, hey, we want to farm wildlife, we want to farm werewolves, and we want to farm fallen. And it's going to tell you all of the dungeons that you can find those specific enemies in. So really cool tool. This is community made. Props to the creators of this. Really, really cool thing. I actually just discovered this today. I just knew some of the places to farm because I was trying to farm a Black River for my Necromancer, and I never got the drop. But yeah, you can use this. Really cool tool. So I'll put that link in the description. So number 4 on our list is that you can roll specific aspects from the Obel's Vendor. So if you're looking for an offensive aspect, you want to roll for focuses. The reason for this is that only offensive aspects can go on focuses. If you are looking for a defensive aspect, you want to roll pants, because only defensive aspects can be on pants. If you're looking for a mana aspect, roll rings. That one's pretty self-explanatory because they can only be on rings, but just in case you were wondering. And then if you want a utility aspect, you'd want to roll boots. So it's still a chance. Like I just rolled, I'm looking for a upgraded or a higher rolled Disobedience, and I didn't find it, but I did get a bunch of other defensive aspects. I got a almost max roll ever living. So that would be the method if you're looking for a specific aspect that you need for your build. All right, and our final tip is going to be around Helltide events. So most of you guys probably know this, but stick around because there is a part of it that you might not know. So if you're brand new and you just got to World Tier 3 and you're just now getting into Helltides, there's a site called helltides.com. I'll also put this in the description. This is going to show you where the mysterious chests are. If you don't know what those are, those chests are they're the best way to aspect farm, and they are going to give you anywhere from 1 to 5 legendary items. So those are your highest payout for Helltides. If you go here to this website, it's going to show you where these chests are, and it's also going to show you the time remaining on the Helltide if it's active, and then when the next one's coming up. It's also going to show you the next World Tier boss and the next Legion event. Okay. Now, the part that you guys might not know is that the chests reset on the hour every hour. So what you want to do is, if you want to maximize your time in the Helltide, you want to try to do Helltides on odd hours. So what I mean by that is you want to try to find a Helltide if you have a limited amount of time you're going to play, or maybe you're only going to do 1 or 2 Helltides and then get off. You want to try to find a Helltide that's going to start in the middle of the hour. So maybe like 10:30 or 12:45 or something, right? Where it gives you enough time to get the 2 chests that are already spawned when the event starts. And then if you have enough of the cinders, then when they reset, you could just do it again, and you could get anywhere from 1 to 5 legendaries for each of those chests. So that's it for today. If you guys liked the video and you found it helpful, please make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. And we are working on a druid build. We should have that out to you guys hopefully this week. We'll see if we can finish it up. And I know some of you guys wanted to see our eternal sorcerer, so we're also working on that, and we'll be getting that video out to you guys shortly. So thanks again, and have a good night. Peace.